Okay, so we didn't have a portfolio challenge this month. We didn't have the 5 days of freelance, but I do have something that I would like you to do this month to keep your business growing. And that's taking a look at your invoice template. Now, I work with some outsourced help, and that means that I get to see invoices from other instructional designers and learning developers. And a few times, especially working with folks who are new to freelancing, I've gotten invoices that don't have all the information that I need as a business owner. So I'm going to walk you through my invoice template, and if you want to share yours below for some feedback, this is a great opportunity to do that. So without further ado, let's take a look at my invoice. This is my invoice template. I have taken out any client information and tried to put in template language for you, but this is really the framework I use when I'm sending things off to clients. I've customized this template inside my accounting software, so when you get this template live, there's actually a button that they can click to just pay me right away through credit card or direct deposit, but yours does not have to have that. That's just like a fancy, nice add-on if you're paying for some accounting software already. So what you'll see is at the top, it lets them know what it is. It's an invoice. Then it has my business name, street address, zip code, all that good stuff, contact information for my business, your instructional designer. Next, I have the contact information for my client. So that's their company and whoever I'm sending the billing to, as well as the address for the organization. That's more nice to have than need to have, but my accounting software auto-populates that information. Now the really important stuff is happening here. So you'll see an invoice number. This is one of the things that new designers tend to forget, but I need to record the invoice number in my accounting software so I know what I had paid and when. And if you don't put new invoice numbers, then I can't separate sort of what I paid and what I haven't. So an invoice number is really important. Again, my accounting system auto-generates the number, but you can come up with some kind of numbering system if you're doing manual. The invoice date is the date that I send the invoice out to my client, and the payment due date is the day by which they have to pay. This is a really important number because, as you'll see later in the notes, I'll charge extra or potentially refuse service if they pay too late. Sometimes I have due upon delivery, so the invoice date would be March 5th and the payment due date would be March 5th, but in this case, it's net 30 terms, which means 30-day payment. So April 4th, 2021 would be the date. The amount due, that's really the thing the client wants to see. The total is $20.40. Now, this particular invoice originally was just a flat rate payment. It was one of two payments, and so I have a rate and an amount. But you might also have hour per service hour, right? So you might have something like storyboarding, and it might say rate $100, and then hours, 100 hours, and then amount $10,000. I think I just did that math right in my head, right? So you should put the columns that make sense for you. Finally, this part's really important. I've only got one line item, so my total is $20.40, but often I deliver multiple services. So you might have storyboarding, storyline development, video production, and I give my client a line item for each of those with the fee, assuming that's how our proposal worked out, but then I total it for them. If you just give them a list of what they owe for each individual thing, it can get a little overwhelming for them to do the calculation. I know that sounds really silly, but anything that adds time to your client means you're at risk of getting paid later. So if you make it easy and you give them a total, you're more likely to get paid quickly. Now the final thing, I have a notes and terms section, and I like to include how to pay. So for me, it's direct deposit, ACH, credit card, PayPal, Stripe. I have a lot of ways to pay me, but there's a big pay me button on the actual outputs. So many clients will just use that. And then there's late payment terms. So I stay upfront that if it goes 14 days past payment, I can stop working on your project at my discretion, and you may have to pay a 3% late fee.